When this legislation passes, Chicago will do what no other large city in America has had the guts to do: clean up a dirty power plant within its jurisdiction, and thus protect the health and welfare of its residents. In doing so, Chicago will cement its reputation as the greenest city in America. Yes, federal clean air rules are in place that regulate emissions from these plants, rules that the power plants are currently flouting and ignoring, and the state will soon implement additional regulations that will go into, well, they'll go into effect soon as a relative term. They'll go into effect many years from now, but in any case, none of those regulations address the kind of emissions that doctors and scientists say pose the most serious threat to the health of Chicago's residents. In passing this legislation, Chicago will not only protect the health of its citizens, it will protect the health of our planet. Carbon dioxide from coal-fired plants is one of the single biggest causes of global warming. This ordinance mandates reductions in carbon dioxide and will help Chicago achieve the goals of its own climate action plan. And I just happen to have with me the relevant page of that plan that talks about the goal that this city has of cleaning up those 2 coal-fired power plants within its jurisdiction. It's now time for the city of Chicago to live up to its own climate action plan. Let me address one issue head on. Before they've even read one word of this legislation, the power company executives are already threatening us. They say rather than clean them up, they'll shut them down. They say their workers will lose those good union jobs. Ladies and gentlemen, labor has no greater friend in the Chicago City Council than Joe Moore. And I'm sick and tired of corporate executives scaring people about job loss just to try to save the bottom line. I'll be damned if I'm going to let some power company executives scare their workers and their families. I'll be damned if I'm going to let them divide the workers and their families from those of us who care about their health and care about the environment. For 40 years, the Clean Air Act has been in place. 40 years. And for 40 years, we've heard those same scare tactics. Well, that power plant, those 2 power plants have somehow managed to survive for the last 40 years of the Clean Air Act. They managed to survive the new state regulations that are going into place. The fact of the matter is they will continue to survive because what we're asking them to do is something that is technologically feasible, it's economically feasible. Other plants have done it. They can do it as well.
These big companies have got to be taught the fact that we want to have clean air in the city of Chicago. Are you with me on that one? Absolutely. And we will make a difference tomorrow by setting a tone, a new tone for Chicago, that we want their acts to be cleaned up. Thank you.
I want to thank Joe Moore for including me in this, because this is one of the most important issues we face, not only today, but our children. I see a couple of little girls out there that, you know, they're the ones who are going to breathe this stuff for the rest of their lives as well. These are just 2 coal plants in our region, and believe me, they don't, the soot and the particulates do not stop at ward borders. They don't. They go across this entire city. They go across the Midwest. They go across the entire world, and that's what we're trying to stop here. We need to hold these people accountable now. We don't have time to waste, and I think that this legislation definitely is the step in the right direction, but we need your help because we can't do it alone. There's only 2 or 3 of us up here today. There's going to be a few more tomorrow, but we need your help to get out there, reach out to your alderman and say, look, you're doing a lot of good work on all these other issues, but if we're not alive tomorrow and our kids can't live a nice, clean future, what's the point? So let's get out there, call your alderman, call the mayor, and tell him to step up to the plate and say, let's shut these things down or let's clean them up. Thank you.
I really felt it was very important to be here today because every day these issues go unaddressed. We've got more and more people who aren't able to breathe. This is very personal for me because my 2 children have asthma. So every time I drive, and I put them in the car with me, they're struggling to grasp for breath. If we're not fighting every day to ensure that the breath our children breathe is clean, then shame on us. Shame on us. This is an issue that can't wait until tomorrow. It can't wait until next month. It can't wait until next year. We've got to take action today. When you drive down the Bishop Ford Highway, heading south, you can smell the pollutants in the air. You can smell it on a hot summer day, sitting in my backyard. If you can imagine the kind of harm that's happening to the lungs of babies like this one in front of me, or children like those behind me, saying coal has got to stop. There is no time to waste. The time is now, the time is today. And I can't thank you all enough for being out here, making a stand. We've got to do it, and I'm here with you. Thank you.
Scientific evidence compiled over the last 15 years has shown that fine particles produced by burning fossil fuels like coal bypass the natural defenses of the body and lodge deep in the lungs. Particulate matter is dangerous. That from the 50-year-old Fisk and Crawford coal-fired power plants contributes to lung cancer, heart attacks, asthma attacks, strokes, bronchitis, respiratory emergency room visits, hospitalizations, and unfortunately premature deaths. Chicago right now has one of the highest asthma rates in the nation, and our asthma hospitalization rate is nearly double the national average. Unfortunately, Fisk and Crawford are still Chicago's largest sources of particulate-forming air pollution, and they are still compromising the health of all Chicagoans. Why should people wait patiently when they are all becoming patients? We need clean air now. We urge the City Council and the administration to adopt this ordinance in order to protect the lives of all Chicago residents. Thank you.
Where no one else has acted, Chicago will. Where the federal government has not acted, Chicago will. State has not acted, Chicago will.
This is exactly what the residents of Little Village and Pilsen have been fighting for the last 8 years, and it brings joy to my heart and tears in my face to know that so many people have joined on and are fighting with us for clean air. Our communities have lived in the shadows of these plants for too long, and we can no longer live like this. With all the science that you have heard about today, with all the technology that we know about, with all of the health studies that we know about, people are still refusing to act, and my hat goes off to the amazing people behind me for taking the initiative, for stepping up, and for saying that if the federal government and the state won't take action or it takes too long, we will, for the sake of the health of our communities. You're going to hear that this is about shutting down the plants. You're going to hear that we don't care about the employees. I challenge Midwest Generation, and I challenge those employees to step up. This is not just about breathing cleaner air. This is about those workers working in safe environments, in clean environments. We are talking about a green economy. We are talking about green workers. These are green workers. They need to be taken out of the fossil fuel and put into new technology, renewable technologies.
Well, I appreciate one of my colleagues' enthusiasm in saying we're going to pass this on Wednesday. It will be referred to a committee, the City Council Committee on Energy, Environmental Protection, and Public Utilities, and that I expect that they will have a prompt hearing on this ordinance and will pass it within a short matter of time.
What do you hear from the mayor?
The mayor, I have not heard anything yet, but I do know one thing. He loves this climate action plan that he supported, and it was in his administration that it passed, and this climate action plan specifically calls for the cleaning up of the 2 coal-fired plants that are in the city. So I would imagine that to be consistent with his climate action plan, he would be in full support of this ordinance.